Hello again YouTube and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. Today I've got to ask quite a sad question actually. Wifey's Ioniq EV is dead. Is my Tesla next? Don't click off thinking this is clickbait. It really isn't. This has actually happened. So if you've been on the channel for a little while, you'll know that we have got Hyundai Ioniq EV as well as my Tesla Model Y. It's a 2021 car, so it's the post facelift one. It has been a good little car, but it was on a 2-year lease and that lease is almost up. And on Monday, Wifey drove it down to work, which is 11 miles basically downhill from here. No problems with the car as usual. It had been fully charged up over the weekend as usual, so the traction battery was full when she left. And after work on Monday, goes back to the car, tries to open the door, nothing. Okay, so pull the key out of her pocket, press open on the key fob, nothing. Oh dear. So after a bit of fiddling with it, she did manage to get it so that the door would open, but inside the car was electrically dead. Nothing on the dashboard, no lights, no anything. So she thought, well, is it just the key fob? Because sometimes you get it occasionally with EVs where it says key not detected. So maybe the battery has gone in the key because it didn't want to do anything. So we bring the spare key down the hill and start messing around with that. And no, it's not the key because the spare key won't get the car to life either. So what exactly has happened here and what does that mean? Essentially, your EV, if you've got one, and Tesla's no different to Hyundai or BMW, Audi, any of the other things, you've essentially got two electrical systems in your car. You have got the high voltage system, which is almost certainly 400 volts unless you've got a Porsche or an Ioniq 5/Kia EV6, which is 800 volts. But everybody else has got a 400 volt system. You can't power the interior lights and the ancillaries and things off 400 volts unless you want a big fire. So there's also a low voltage system, which for some excitable reason everybody is still powering off an old-fashioned lead iron 12 volt car battery. The same kind of thing that had been in cars since, well, I don't know how long, but a long time. And unless that 12 volt battery is going to work, then your car isn't going to be able to switch on. So having realized that it's not the keys, therefore it's the battery, I went back up the hill in the Tesla Model Y and dug out our jump leads, because we have got a spare set of jump leads that admittedly hadn't been used for a little while, but okay, let's do that. I then thought, I have no clue exactly what the process is to jumpstart another car using a Tesla. So I got in the spare car, and there'll be more videos coming up on the 2009 Hyundai i30, which I bought over the weekend, and some of the shenanigans that we had in actually getting that up here. So get in the i30 with its own engine fault, by the way, back down the hill, stick the jump leads onto it, because one thing that I did know about the i30 is that it has a new battery, 12 volt battery, and absolutely nothing. Basically the Ioniq was completely stone cold dead, not able to start, not able to do anything. Happily, it was parked in a safe spot. Happily, there was somebody, me, able to come and rescue the driver and do all of those other things. But basically, the car was dead. So what we've then done is the following day, we have had a rescue truck come. And the exciting bit here is that on the phone, they said, it's probably an electrical system fault. We've had loads of these to pick up. We also rang the Hyundai dealership. They basically said the same thing. We'll get it recovered down to us. We'll have a look at it. And then they said the bit that was most interesting, which was I hope you're not expecting to get the car back soon. And this is the point. It appears that it isn't just a dead 12-volt battery. Now let's think about this, right? Most of us who've got an EV or are thinking about an EV, which is why you're here, thanks, we've had cars with an engine. And cars with engines do occasionally get flat batteries, and they do occasionally have a failed battery, and that's absolutely fine because jump leads or a boost pack or something onto the battery, get the engine turned over, and chances are you're going to be able to get some power back into it. I remember a mate had a Mini where basically the battery was absolutely knackered, and we would bump start the thing every third start because the battery just wasn't having it. And obviously on a Mini or something like that, or any car with a manual transmission, it's fairly easy. Start pushing the thing, and when you get a little bit of speed going on the thing, jump into the seat, clutch, second, off the clutch, on the power, and off the thing goes. You can't do that in an EV. It just doesn't work. And the point is, if you've got an EV, it's not supposed to let the battery drain, because Tesla, Hyundai, Kia, BMW, all of them have got basically a bus connection between the two electrical systems, DC to DC. So it will put power from the high voltage traction battery into the low voltage auxiliary battery, the 12-volt one. And with the Hyundai, it actually flashes one of the blue charging lights on the dash whilst it's doing this. So there is no reason at all for an EV to have a completely dead 12-volt battery. If the battery has suddenly gone, then something has happened which has stopped the traction battery charging the auxiliary battery. Because again, remember, the battery with all of the charging current for driving in the EV was full. It had been charged up over the weekend. It set off down the hill on 100%. There was no reason at all for it not to be able to top the battery up, even if the battery was unhappy. So when the recovery truck gets there and he sticks his probe onto it, the battery is showing 3 volts. And 3 volts in 12-volt speak is absolutely knackered, right? It has died properly. But then the question is, why has it died? And this is when you come on back home and you start going on the computer and Googling things. There is a thing called vampire drain with EVs, and it is something that they don't quite know what it is, but basically like a vampire sucking your blood, it is pulling electrons out of your battery. Now, with a lot of it, that seems to be the traction battery. So there's plenty of stuff about Tesla owners who have got the car parked upset in airport for a couple of weeks, and it is draining the battery and they don't know what's going on. Well, what's happening is that the car is being woken up and you've got Sentry mode on, or you have got your app waking the car up basically, and every time it's waking the car up and every time it's speaking via the phone link to the server, it's using a bit of battery. I've seen that myself, parked up at the airport using Sentry mode. It uses 3-4% or something in a 36-hour period. But we're not talking about the traction battery, we're talking about the auxiliary battery, the 12 volt. Something on quite a lot of EVs is draining that absolutely dead and killing it, because I've gone on web forums and I've seen examples from basically every EV brand that you can think of, all suffering a dead 12 volt battery. And when the 12 volt battery is dead, the car is dead. It is electrically dead. You cannot get in the thing. You can't bump the thing. If the battery has gone below a particular point, you can't even boost the battery. So you could try jump lead. We did that. It did absolutely nothing. The battery was in such a low state of charge that the power that would go through the jump leads wasn't enough. And when the guy came and stuck his booster pack on it, yes, absolutely, the car sprung to life. And as soon as he disconnects the crocodile clip, it dies again because the battery is dead. But the question is, what kills the battery? Because there's loads of examples as well on the web of other EV owners of all kinds of brands, where they take it into the main dealers say, oh, we've never seen anything about this before, and the manufacturer says, not anything to do with us, Guff, we don't know anything about this. So after a bit of faffing, the 12 volt battery gets swapped under warranty, because it's a warranty item like anything else. And in some examples, literally 2 days later, the same thing's happened again, and the car's dead again. And it's dead because there is an electrical fault somewhere in the system that they don't want to find that is draining the 12 volt battery, the vampire drain. So here's the thing. We might not actually see Wifey's Ioniq again, because there's only a few weeks left to the end of the lease. The dealers have already warned us, don't expect it to come back anytime soon. So chances are that car's now gone. But more importantly, if you've got a car with a petrol or a diesel engine, chances are, if the battery has suddenly gone while you're out and about, you can still get the thing started and you can still drive. If, like in her case, you have got a dead 12 volt battery for no particular reason and it was sudden death, the thing was working fine with no faults, no warnings, no alarms, nothing, but you suddenly can't start your vehicle. So what if that happens when you're not in a safe place or when you're somewhere remote? I've just driven the car around Skye, and by the way, part 3 of the Skye video is coming this weekend. But if my Tesla had pulled that stunt, say when I was parked up at Nice Point Lighthouse, that might not have been particularly helpful, let's put it that way. So it's just a bit of food for thought, guys. Have you seen or heard of anything like this before? 12 volt battery in an EV dying so abruptly and so massively that the car needs to be recovered on a flatbed, because it's the kind of thing that you read about it and think, nah, and then suddenly it happens and it's like, wow. So let me know in the comments what you've seen, what you've heard, what you know, because honestly this one baffles me. And here's the final point: there needs to be some kind of solution to be able to get us mobile again. I am now thinking, do I need to buy one of those booster packs that you can carry around with you to be able to jumpstart a 12 volt battery? The problem is, if the 12 volt has gone beyond the point where that can actually work, that's not going to do it. I mean, to get her Ioniq onto the back of the truck, it's driving with the bonnet open and the booster pack attached to the battery whilst it's being manoeuvred, because if you disconnect it, the car would die. It's not great. Anyway, that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You guys know all of this already. But I'll see you very soon back here on Just Get a Tesla.